Hey there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. The left has now officially lost their minds. President Trump makes a big proclamation that whole milk is healthy again, and we've got to put whole milk back in schools, and all that is well and good. The left comes out and says it's a dog whistle. It's racist that we now have whole milk, I guess because milk is white, is what they're claiming. Even though President Trump had a bunch of black kids into the Oval Office with white kids talking about the benefits of whole milk. But again, this is racist. So today we are going to talk about the push on a state level to bring Make America Healthy Again policies to our local communities. And it is important. The federal government can't do it alone. We're going to talk about that on a state level. We're going to talk about some of the foods that some of the Hollywood stars, wealthy folks are telling private chefs, oh, this says it's healthy, but they're not eating it because they don't think it's all that healthy. We'll reveal that. And GLP-1s, the weight loss medications, large amounts of seniors are getting off of this medication. I just told a buddy of mine who's in his 70s. He said he's going to start taking GLP-1. I said, no, don't do that. I said, in fact, if you're going to do anything, get with the wellness company and take their drop product. twc.health/grant. Use grant 100 for $100 off of drop. Now, drop is an amazing peptide-based product from the wellness company that'll get you off those GLP-1s that eat your muscle, that do so much harm to your body. This curbs your appetite and lets you lose weight in a way that is a healthy way to lose weight. And these peptides are great. We're going to talk more about some of the peptide products that the wellness company has, which are absolutely phenomenal. twc.health/grant. Grant is the promo code for 10% off everything on the wellness company. Grant 100 is the promo code to get $100 off of drop. So I would urge you to take advantage of that. All right, with that, folks, let's get the show started. Here we go.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
All right, welcome, everybody. I want to bring in my guest, Dr. Kelly Victory. She is with the Wellness Company. Dr. Victory, welcome to the program.
Thanks, as always, for having me, Grant.
All right, I'm going to play a clip for you here in a second, but first off, your reaction to let's start with the positive here. Whole milk. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm a fitness buff. I like to watch what I eat. I don't really like whole milk. I think it's going to put weight on me like it's going out of style. But apparently now this is back in style. Tell me the benefits of whole milk, or am I totally wrong about that? I got to worry about weight gain with it.
No, I don't think that you're wrong, Grant. First of all, I am not a huge proponent of milk in general. I think that Americans drink too much of it. Humans are the only mammals on the planet that continue to drink milk after they're weaned. It is a rapid growth, high calorie product intended to give not only immunity that comes from breast milk, but to encourage rapid growth. Once you're weaned, I think you should limit the amount that you drink in general. That said, if you're going to drink milk, and particularly children, since they are already getting whatever hormones and other things are in the milk, they should benefit from the good milk fats that they can get during those early years when rapid growth, when development of muscles, skeletal systems, nervous systems are most prolific. So I don't think it's a bad idea for young children to drink whole milk. I would be cautious for adults doing it for exactly the reason that you said. It is high fat, it's high calorie, and for many people, it's a source of calories that can easily be eliminated and supplemented instead with good nutrition, protein from other sources that have fewer calories.
All right, I don't even really like milk anymore. I was talking to my sister about this. She says, you used to drink milk like it was going out of it was. I said going out of style earlier, but again, I don't know how else to describe it. She said, I drank milk. I would pound cartons and containers of milk as a kid. I actually don't remember that. I don't like it now. My son will drink milk, but typically we're using like almond milk. I don't use soy milk, especially for a boy. But your thoughts on that?
Well, again, my problem with milk is number one, it is associated with higher risks of prostate cancer in adulthood. And one of the biggest issues is that it has been adulterated with hormones and antibiotics. It's one of the reasons, Grant, that I believe we are seeing puberty at younger and younger ages. Girls are reaching puberty now at the age of 9. When I was growing up, it was 12 or 13. Boys are starting to develop earlier, and that is because, in large part, they are getting in massive amounts of hormone through milk products in particular.
Do you think
so? I would agree with you.
Almond milk is good or bad?
Almond milk, I happen to like almond milk. Again, I don't drink dairy milk. I do drink almond milk occasionally, or use it for cooking purposes. Again, it has no dairy in it. It's relatively high in protein. The biggest issue with almond milk and with all of these sort of alternative milk products is to make sure that you are getting one that has no added sugar. These become very stealth ways to get additional sugar in your diet if you're not careful. So I make sure that you are buying unsweetened almond milk.
All right. So for the issues that you have with milk, is any of them that milk may be racist because it's white, Dr. Victory?
No, I hadn't gotten there yet. I can't connect those dots. There's nothing, frankly, that the left can't turn fundamentally into racism, Grant, and I suppose this is no surprise. But maybe eggs are racist too, or white bread, or other, potatoes. I don't know. I was shocked when you said that there was a claim that milk was somehow racist, but right. I suppose nothing surprises me anymore.
Watch this.
Hey guys, so this is a dog whistle, and if you don't know what a dog whistle is, I'm going to tell you to go to your local search engine and search up the definition of dog whistle, so I'm not accused of putting words in your mouth, but then you'll see that this is an example of a dog whistle.
No, I don't think it is a dog whistle. Obviously, some kind of a racist trope that you're calling in the racist. I think it's absolutely ludicrous. That was not the only video I found on that front. I found many. I think maybe this gets to the point where when you are left defending child molesters that are being chased by ICE agents, when you're storming churches because an ICE agent may be there and disrupting religious services, when you're defending rogue regimes simply because President Trump's the one that's trying to create freedom around the globe, maybe you have nothing else, so you just come with the racist claim?
Perhaps. And the reality, unfortunately, and this is reality, not racism, is that chronic disease incidence is highest in Black and brown communities. Rates of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and kidney disease are the highest in African American and Latino communities. So if anyone should be happy about the revamping of the food pyramid, the greater focus on chronic disease management, on greater focus on nutrition and the things we can do to eliminate obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and kidney disease, it should be people in those communities. So this is a completely, once again, an unhelpful and undermining effort on the part of the left. I don't know what their ultimate end goal is.
So if President Trump is so racist about pushing whole milk back into schools, now remember it was Obama that took it out of schools. I don't think Obama took it out. I don't even think Obama thought white milk was racist. So he had his reasons. President Trump puts it back in. But look at this moment. Now, you tell me if you think President Trump is racist here, okay?
In the first grade, I also know where does milk come from.
Where does it come from?
So first farmers milk it, and then next they put it into a coal tank, and then they to take the germs out, they put it very hot, and then they put it back in the coal tank, and then they haul it to somewhere that is cold in a big refrigerator.
Well, that is unbelievable.
I'm going to give him a medal.
everybody, these guys want it. Let me tell you, politicians want it. I'm going to give that to you. Is that okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's
And
beautiful.
This is Daniel.
Wow.
He didn't give any of the white kids a medal.
No, it really, this is, I mean, as I said, there's nothing that the left can't turn into a racist moment. This is a true effort. I believe that President Trump really has prioritized trying to crack the chronic disease epidemic that we have in this country. And that absolutely begins, Grant, with fixing the food system for children, fixing what goes into school lunches, and fixing what they are allowed to buy through the SNAP benefits programs. It is an imperative for this country to improve the health of their children, and that starts with what they eat. It has been decades now that we have been fomenting, really fostering obesity, diabetes, and a tsunami of chronic diseases. Not only is it unsustainable from a financial perspective, but we are relegating these kids to a horrible quality of life. Growing up obese and diabetic really does not portend for a good quality of life in the future.
This has been going on for a long time, that you're using SNAP benefits. This is, basically food stamps, to go buy Twinkies and potato chips and sodas. Like, my tax dollars shouldn't be going to that, and not for the sole reason that you shouldn't be eating it, but because in the end it causes disease, and these are the people that are going to be taking public health benefits. So in essence, you're compounding the problem by allowing them to buy those things. I don't fall into the camp that you have freedom to do whatever you want if you're on the dole. If you're on the dole, you don't get freedoms. My son is on the dole. He doesn't get freedoms. He doesn't get to choose. He wants to start paying. Well, then he can choose. But that's not happening anytime soon.
No, amen. I mean, you just connected the dots right there, Grant. The vast majority of people on public assistance for food are also on public assistance for healthcare. So why do I want to be producing disease and illness and ill health in a group of people whose healthcare costs I'm also responsible for? Furthermore, people have a choice to buy those things with their own money. But we want, if they're using public assistance in order to feed their families, we want to be sure that they get good nutrition first, that they are buying and providing for their children in particular, those things that are going to give their kids the best chance of excelling physically, excelling at school, doing well, and not ending up with a chronic disease earlier than they otherwise would. So yes, the idea that we have been using U.S. taxpayer dollars to buy Doritos and chips and Coca-Cola and frozen foods and all of these other things that are unhealthy, that simply has to stop. There's nothing racist about that. There's really nothing hateful about it. It's looking out for the best interest of Americans.
I want to talk more about this. I want to talk about some of the so-called healthy foods. There is a trap, the reduced fat trap. It usually is. What is the one that's like the worst? I think it's called Smart Pop, like the popcorn that it says Smart Pop, but everybody thinks it's healthy, but it's really not healthy at all. I want to talk about some of these things. I have another clip from Dr. Hotze, who this is out of control about the vaccines and where we are. I want to get your reaction on that COVID vaccine I'm talking about. But before I do, I want to ask you about this new product from the wellness company, Regenerate. And so Regenerate is, explain to me what it is. This is a peptide-based, I believe BP157, which I have actually heard of and considered using to basically recover after workouts. Can you talk to me about this product, Regenerate, and how impressed you are with it?
Sure, absolutely. To demystify this for our viewers, peptides has sort of become the buzzword recently, and for good reason. Peptides are simply short-chain amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. There are hundreds of them, thousands of peptides out there that can be used for different things. Regenerate is a great product. It's the first of its kind oral triple peptide that is specifically geared towards muscle rehabilitation and tissue regeneration. It also improves gut health. So it has multiple mechanisms of action. Typically, we recommend that people take it after a workout on an empty stomach with a small amount of water. It's an oral formulation. And again, it's meant to help quicker recovery. It helps mitochondrial function. It helps muscle and tissues to regenerate, and it helps gut health. So again, peptides have become, the word of the day. They can be taken intravenously, orally, or applied topically. This particular product is an oral one, not unlike drop, which you mentioned earlier for weight loss. Again, a peptide, but a very different peptide. That's a global term that means short chain amino acid. And think about that as a building block for proteins. And this particular one, Regenerate, is great for those people who have an active lifestyle, are interested in exercising frequently, but want to quicken their recovery, protect their muscles, and improve mitochondrial function.
I have used peptides, and I still use some, one for fat loss and one for muscle gain. Mm-hmm. I have seen this BPC 157 and have considered using it. I take so many shots. This is great because it is a drop form. I don't have to take another shot with this, right. Correct?
Exactly. This is an oral one. You take it in a couple of tablespoons of water on an empty stomach. It's in a liposomal sort of package that protects it from stomach acid. Otherwise, these would degrade very quickly when they hit the stomach. So it's a proprietary formulation that protects it, allows it to get into the gut before it's digested. And like drop, is taken orally, so you avoid any more needles and avoid all the inherent complications with things that are injected.
Yeah, sounds amazing. So twc.health/grant here. I'll put the address up there one more time. twc.health/grant. Use the promo code GRANT for 10% off and try that out. Especially, even when you're getting older and your joints are, and you just need that recovery help. This would be great for that. twc.health/grant. Use the promo code GRANT for 25% off. All right. Dr. Victory, you and I have talked about this Dr. Hotze, how do you say his name?
Hotez. Dr. Hotez.
Okay, excuse me, Dr. Hotez, yes. So Dr. Hotez, he is still hell-bent on the COVID vaccine. He's not really admitted any wrongdoing on behalf of anybody going back through COVID, when I think widely it's now acknowledged that this whole thing was botched. Let me play a clip for you. He was on a local radio station in Houston. I don't know if you saw this, but let me play it for you.
My concern was I'm getting COVID often. I took Paxlovid the third time, and then a few weeks later I got it again, and it was COVID was really bad on me.
That's a common experience, by the way. So if you get repeated bouts of COVID, anybody can get long COVID after a case of COVID. It's more likely if you've had repeated bouts of COVID or if you've had a severe case of COVID.
So
that's the reason.
Should I be getting the vaccine even though I've had it multiple times?
Yeah. Now, I guess one question is, after you had your first 2 immunizations way back in 2021, did you get boosters regularly?
I got 1 booster, and then after that I stopped getting them.
Yeah. So that's the reason why you keep up with the booster.
Doc, please help me.
No, I mean, truly, either he has totally drunk the Kool-Aid and just cannot see the data. The reality is this, Grant, the COVID shots were an abject failure, independent of the harms that they caused to people, the vaccine injuries. Independent of that, they simply didn't work. They don't prevent you from getting COVID. They don't prevent you from spreading COVID to others. In fact, we have multiple large studies, including one of 53,000 patients out of the Cleveland Clinic, that concludes clearly that the more vaccinated, quote unquote, you are for COVID, the more likely you are to get it. And this woman is a case in point. I don't know about you and the people who surround you, but in my own sphere, absolutely, the people who keep getting COVID over and over and over again are the multiply vaccinated and multiply boosted.
Yeah.
People who aren't vaccinated, like myself, I got COVID one time. That's it, one and done. Wasn't particularly ill with it, and haven't had COVID since.
Well,
it's the multiply vaccinated who have immune systems that are now incompetent.
The reality is I wouldn't be able to tell you whether I've had COVID multiple times because I refuse to get tested for it. So I don't know. I came off a cold a few months back. I don't know whether it was COVID. It knocked me out pretty good. It may have been allergies. I just got tested for Mountain Cedar. I got this cough that I can't stop, and I'm down in Texas, and they're pretty convinced Mountain Cedar is causing my little cough that I have. People that watch this podcast will notice that it's been trouble for the last 3 or 4 months. And same thing happened last winter to me. But what is your response to the claim that, well, it'll limit the damage that COVID does? It won't be as severe. I think they're still trying to push that claim.
They are trying to push it, but there isn't a shred of evidence that that's the case. There isn't a single study that shows, Grant, that it even decreased the hospitalizations or deaths. The data are very clear now if people actually look at it. This was an abject failure. And that, again, we aren't even talking about the number of people. Now, by the way, the estimate in the U.S. for deaths from this shot is estimated to be somewhere in the range of 600,000 people in the U.S. actually killed by the shots. And let that sink in. Those are big numbers. Whether there will ever be accountability or acknowledge of that on a grand scale, I have my doubts. But that's what the data have led us to conclude.
Unbelievable. I've told this before. My parents are New York liberals, which is such a shame. And they got totally vaxxed. I don't know if my father kept doing it. I don't know whether my dad's he's a pretty common sense guy. I think he just hates Trump more than anything else. My mom is just a wacky New York liberal because she was raised that way. And I think all her friends are. So she's just been brainwashed. But both of them took the vax. Early on after taking the vax, my father got appendicitis. Now he's 80. I don't know, and I think now that's listed as a side effect for the vaccine, appendicitis. He had to have his appendix taken out. My mother now deals with chronic fatigue, and she's had every booster under the sun. Chronic fatigue, she gets colds all the time. She constantly, now I don't know whether it's just because she's older and she's got a weakened immune system, but she's in pretty good shape. Like she still does yoga and all these things. Like she's not an old lady being wheeled around in a wheelchair. But it's just, she's just tired all the time and she doesn't want to travel. I think it's the vaccine.
Well, there's no way to say that any one person's illness, whether it's cancer, atrial fibrillation, chronic fatigue, is caused by the vaccine. But I can tell you that from an epidemiologic standpoint, when we look at the incidence, the rates of these different disease processes in the vaccinated compared to the unvaccinated, it is pretty glaringly obvious what is happening. People who are not vaccinated have had much lower rates of these things than those people who have been vaccinated. And this tsunami that we are seeing of turbo cancers, and yes, they are real, are clearly happening in those who are vaccinated. We are seeing rates of cancers, very aggressive cancers, in groups of people in whom they are normally not seen. And by that, I mean colon cancers in people in their 20s and 30s, very aggressive lung cancers in non-smokers in their 40s, aggressive lymphomas and myelomas, leukemias in much different age groups than we normally see them. And that, there's no question, is related to this toxic vaccine. So the idea that people are still taking them, I don't know, if you get your kids vaccinated for chickenpox and they come down with chickenpox, you get them vaccinated for measles and they still get measles. At some point, you need to say, this isn't a very good vaccine if you have to take one every 15 minutes and you still get sick, but the best they can hang their hat on but you would have gotten sicker had you not gotten this shot.
Well, I'll remind people the wellness company has that ultimate spike detox. And I have tried to get my mother to take this, and she will not take it. And I think she will not take it, quite frankly, simply because it's from the wellness company. And so she sees doctors like you, doctors like Dr. McCullough, and she don't want anything to do with that because it's the complete opposite side of what she will listen to that Dr. Hotez. before she will listen to us, and it's so frustrating for me. But maybe I put this in. I'll buy it for her and put it in a different bottle. I'll put Mark Cuban's name on it, and then
there you go.
And maybe she'll take it and help her out with it.
There you go. It's a shame that it's become so politicized. Frankly, if it were the other way around, the left is also always wishing, death and destruction upon the right. People are always, hoping that I get hit by a bus. When I am saying the opposite, I am trying to help these people from being harmed further. Everything we do at the Wellness Company is to reach out and embrace those people who did get vaccinated and were harmed by it, to try to help them to get over it. We are apolitical. We are trying very hard to make all of our medications, all of our supplements available to everybody, with the idea that people should be empowered to be the healthiest form of themselves that they can be without interference from the government.
Well, it really is such a great company. I mean, I'm honored to be associated with it and be able to bring information like we talk about every Tuesday. All right, so here's this other story I saw on Fox News. Private chefs reveal the 5 healthy foods their wealthy clients usually avoid. This is the printout from Fox News. All right, you ready for the list, Doc? Plant-based meats, marked as healthy, but have been heavily engineered. True?
100%. And I love that this is coming out, that behind the scenes, these people who claim to eat bugs and plant-based meats actually wouldn't come near it at all. And they're right. I just wish that they would stop virtue signaling in public, because in private, they don't actually eat this stuff. It is heavily engineered. There's no reason to think that it's healthier. It was foisted upon us by the climate activists. It had nothing to do with better nutrition whatsoever. And there's a reason why these celebrities behind the scenes say, rules for thee, but not for me.
Well, this next one I knew about, and so I'm very careful. I do eat protein bars, but I pick them very carefully. I look at the sugar count in them, because basically it's a phony name for candy bar.
Bingo. And you just hit the nail on the head. Many of them do have higher protein, say, than a Snickers bar, or a regular candy bar, but you're not doing yourself any favor if you're getting a huge amount of sugar along with that. So I eat protein bars as well, but I pick them very carefully. Super high protein, super high fiber, zero sugar, and as few, additives and unnatural ingredients as possible.
All right, next one is low-fat, quote, and, quote, diet foods. And when you see foods labeled fat-free or reduced fat, red flag, says this private chef whose clients all say, I don't want any of that stuff.
Absolutely. Here's the deal. There are 3 big buckets that you're going to have in a food product: protein, fat, and carbohydrate. If you get rid of one entirely, it's going to get made up with the other one, or with the other 2 in general. And unfortunately, most of these low-fat foods, they don't make it up with protein. They make it up with carbohydrates. And commonly, that carbohydrate is out-and-out sugar. So if you think back to years ago when we were into the real low-fat, fat-free craze, those Snackwell cookies, the chocolate cookies, they had no fat. So everyone thought, it's open season. I can eat the whole box. They were nothing but sugar. And what wasn't sugar was artificial coloring, artificial preservatives. They were absolutely horrific. They were little toxic pucks, shaped like chocolate cookies. And so, avoid things that say fat-free without being very careful to look and see if they took all the fat out, what are they adding back? Now, I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't pay attention to fats, because you want to be focusing on those healthy fats. You don't want things that have fat in the form of soybean oil, canola oil, those sorts of things, those seed oils that are highly toxic and have contributed to our chronic health issues.
I would warn people about yogurt, too. Be very careful with yogurt, because it's often very high in sugar. There is some pretty good options for high protein, low sugar options. You got to search it out, though, at the grocery store. All right. Granola and store-bought cereals. I knew this about granola. It's high in sugar. I still like it. But store-bought cereals are brutal when it comes to this.
Both are really horrible choices for nutrition. Granola what got sold as a bill of goods to be this healthy thing because it had some amount of whole grains in it, or nuts or seeds or dried fruit, these sorts of things. They are chocked full of sugar, and even the ones that don't have a lot of sugar have unhealthy oils. They are largely made with soybean oil or canola oil, again, two of the worst offending seed oils that contribute to not only obesity and insulin dysregulation, but also inflammation. So lots of reasons, and all of this focus on grains. If you look at the new food pyramid, finally, that has been flipped on its head, there's far, far less emphasis on grains. We don't need nearly the amount of carbohydrates that the average American had been eating previously. So I give granola in general a big thumbs down.
Big thumbs down. All right. Well, I'm half Italian and I love carbs. I just can't help it. That's my thing. But it's when I limit them, I don't cut them, but if I limit them, I do a much better job of staying trim than I do when I'm overloading on carbs. All right. Lastly, I don't know if I agree with this. I think I get what they're trying to say. It says excessive smoothies and cleanses, but I think what they're saying is trendy liquid meals that can be the problem here, because a good smoothie is good for you if you do it right. Not a smoothie that's loaded with sugar that's really a milkshake, but a decent fruit smoothie. There's nothing wrong with that, and I think there's plenty of cleanses, juice diets that are probably pretty good to go on. You go on for a few days or something, but I get the trendy liquid diets are probably not great.
Two things about smoothies and liquid meals. Number one, you're exactly right about the sugar. They typically are very, very high in sugar, even if it's not added sugar. And the problem with liquids or smoothies is that when you put something, and the science is very clear on this, when you make something into a liquid form, your body doesn't interpret it, doesn't feel it as a solid food. So the calorie content can be very high. You think about a smoothie that has 2 bananas, an apple, a cup of orange juice, 2 scoops of whey powder. You're 600-700 calories into that. But when you drink it, your body doesn't say, I just had 600 or 700 calories, the way that it would if you ate the 2 bananas by themselves, the apple, if you ate those things as whole foods. The way that your body and the connection between your stomach and your brain, and whether it tells you that you should be full and should stop eating. So somebody who's your size, who's a bigger guy, who can take more calories in than somebody like me, you might get away with it. Because an extra 600 or 700 calories, but that for me represents a good third of my daily intake. And if I do it as a smoothie, but I don't feel full as a result, I'm going to end up going over on my calorie intake for the day.
I can do a smoothie as a meal replacement. So that you're exactly right. I figure about 600 calories there, and I try to keep my 3 meals around 500 to 600 calories each. And then I'll have a snack, which is whether it's nuts or a banana or whatever in the middle of the day. So I'm taking in, I don't know, close to 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day. Puts me pretty good with how I work out. If I'm working out really hard, I can maybe push it to 2,500 calories a day, but really probably not.
Yeah, and so I think that, again, the issue with smoothies is those two things: the sugar. It's not a great way, to control sugar. It's very, very difficult with a smoothie. And then number two, because we just don't perceive liquid calories in the same way. That's why one of the easiest things you can do to lose weight and to cut out some calories is they say, cut out the liquid calories. Don't ever drink liquids that contain calories. If you're drinking sodas, stop it. If you're drinking sweetened tea, stop. If you're putting sugar in your coffee, stop. Because one of the easiest ways to eliminate calories is in the liquid form. If you're going to drink alcohol, and many of us do, use non-caloric mixers, whether it's tonic or whatever you're putting in there. Make sure you're not getting empty calories that way.
Most people that drink alcohol on a regular basis, if they stop drinking alcohol for a week, they will drop 5 to 10 pounds.
Right. Correct.
Correct. And that literally is just reality. Now, I drink vodka. I drink it straight. I get hydrated by the ice is how I look at it. And, and so the vodka is the least amount of calories of all the alcohol out there. Clear is best, but it's not good for you. If I got rid of that, I would be even better shape than I am.
Well, I think small amounts of alcohol are not bad for you. I think the studies actually show that drinking in moderation actually is not unhealthy. There's no question that over drinking has many problems associated with it, including increased risks of cancer. But I think moderation is the answer, and many people have a hard time with moderation when it comes to alcohol, in which case I say avoid it entirely, but certainly don't allow it to be a vehicle to get more sugar into your diet.
I will work on the moderation. You know, when I pour a vodka, my very special lady friend laughs at me because I use a regular rocks glass, but it's just ice and I fill it all the way up. I will bet you it's probably 4 drinks at a bar in one of them. But that's my vice. It is what it is. Dr. Kelly Victory, the wellness company keeps me healthy, and I appreciate all the work that you do for them and coming on the program, and a big thank you.
Thank you for having me, as always, Grant.
Absolutely. And folks, let me remind you about the new product. And, you know, I do go to the gym, and this is pretty darn cool, this Regenerate program, and I would urge you to check it out, okay? Especially if you're working out, you're walking, if you're older, all of that can really help you. Now, every workout, injury, surgery creates microscopic good and bad damage inside the body. Muscle inflammation, tissue breakdown can peak within 72 hours after physical stretch, which is why recovery matters just as much as training. This is Regenerate from the Wellness Company, a new recovery resource. Regenerate is the first ever oral triple peptide recovery drop designed for full body healing without injections, and that's great. At the core, BPC 157. I told you about this. A body protective peptide known for supporting gut lining integrity while helping tendons, ligaments, and soft tissue recover faster. All right, so go to twc.health/grant. Use the promo code GRANT for 10% off. That's twc.health/grant. Use that promo code GRANT. Regenerate is backed by science and built for recovery. All right, that's going to do it for us today, folks. I so appreciate you joining me. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the Real America's Voice show tonight. The World Economic Forum is getting underway in Davos, Switzerland. I'm working on getting a live report from there. We shall see if that comes through. And President Trump's really officially in office now for his first full year of his second term. We'll talk about that tonight on the show. Stinchfield's Army rolls. We'll see you then, folks.
Are we good?
Yeah, we are.
Awesome.